Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions.
I've been working my whole career to get in front of that realtor. How is she in front of them? And it's because I have nothing to sell realtors. I just want to share their story,
Right.
share their inspiration, share what they got going on.
Welcome to the podcast.
Exactly. So that's exactly right. So that's all I did, and that's how our model still is. I still have nothing to sell realtors.
Right.
So, and we keep it that way on purpose, because as soon as I start charging a realtor for a feature, the whole bottom will fall out. That's
Right.
not our platform. So long story short, Eric's like, sees me, he's like, oh dude, what do I got to do to get in with you? And I was like, let's sit down and talk. Like, I've been building this for months and you haven't freaking helped me. So
Right.
this is where I need your help.
Right.
So now we're partnered and we're good. And now he loves it.
Yeah.
And it's all, and now we have we have a cool partnership going on. I'm meeting him for lunch, I think this week or next week or something. But that's how I make my move, and that's how I get started and start Real Producers. But here's the thing, I literally get here and start working in January 2018. Was it 17 or 18? I think it was 18. And I literally went 9 months through ramp up. I went 9 months with no income. So I'm so grateful for my past hard work with Cutco, my saving strategy. I've always been a saver, been saving money. I wish I started saving money earlier, but like I've been saving money since I've been 25 without any hiccups. Like I've never missed rent. I've never missed a Roth payment, period. Won't do it, right? And I saved a few other things and paid for all this other stuff. But like I've been very, I'd still go out and party and have a good time, but I always had money to make sure I was saving. And so thank God for that, because I went through my savings while I was building this business, and then it finally started to come to fruition, and everything kind of started to tumble. And now it's been 6-7 years. I've been here for 7 years. In the magazine, been running for 6, which is kind of wild to think about. It's kind of a chunk of time. And then I don't foresee this having an expiration date anytime soon. The expiration date, I think, would be when I decide I want to exit. And I don't want to exit anytime soon. I just want to double down again. I want to double down again in real estate. I want my husband and I want to own more real estate.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. So that's where.
It's a wise move.
That's the next big step, is like, and it's this time it's my turn to buy, is what my husband said. So like, yes, we work things out together, like financially, but he wants me to go through the process of the underwriting and all the things, because he wants me to understand, because he bought the first house and I didn't have any. I was just like, I actually met my husband at a real estate related event in San Diego, and he was at an investor event, and he was just he's an engineer. And you could tell he stood out like a sore thumb, because you could tell investors and fixers and contractors and networkers and lenders, like, what these people look like and how they talk, like, a salesperson, right? But I met him and I was like, oh, you're like, he stood out like immediately. I was like, oh, you are not good at this. Like, you do not, is this your first time ever networking? Like, I was like, oh, this guy's he's never done anything like this. And it was his first few times, like, being in a position to network and be around people. And that's what he said. And I remember the first thing I said to him, he goes, well, me and my buddy, I said, what are you doing here? If you're like, oh, you're an engineer? Oh, interesting. I was like, oh, okay, an engineer, but how'd you find out about this? He's like, oh, I was looking up investor events because I want to get in investing. I was like, oh, cool. Well, how much money you got? Like, I think I just asked him just like that, like, because again, I just shoot from my hip. But I was like, okay, what kind of money you got? What are you working on or whatever? And he's like, well, me and my buddy's got some money. Me and my buddies are going in on a deal. We got like $500,000 and we're looking for, like, commercial property. And I looked right at him and was like, And I laughed at him, and I go, "You're gonna need a shitload more than $500,000 to invest it or for some commercial property here in San Diego."
Luck.
Yeah, and I looked right at him and laughed, and I said that exact thing, and then and again we just kept talking, but I was obviously said it with couth, but I remember saying that, like poo-pooing him, like, "You're gonna need a whole load more than that to invest around here," but and that's what I said. I said, "But you are in the right place. Let me go introduce you to a few of my friends that I think you could talk to." And I introduced him to Andrew Greer. Andrew ended up, I introduced him again. Andrew sat down with me, sat down with him individually, whatever, and ended up selling us our house. So, and yeah, just a beautiful story and how that all worked out too. So like, anyway,
Andrew's the man.
Yeah, it was a cool situation. We went and looked at this property that actually my husband Jason found because he got he was like, "Hey, I want to look online. Can you just get me access to the MLS?" So Andrew gave him the access, right? So he can go and look at deals. So Jason and we were living together in Mission Valley at the time, but only like I started dating Jason, and then 6 months we moved in together.
Mm-hmm.
And then 6-7 months after that, I think he was buying the house. Like, it was like that fast. And then, no, it wasn't 6 months after we were having kids, but 6 months after that, we were like, all right, I think I want to marry you. Okay. And then we were like, okay, let's make plans to do all those things. So
you buy the house first and then you get married?
Yes.
There you go.
And I do recommend that people don't even get married anymore. Just elope. You get married, you go get the marriage license, but you shouldn't spend any more than like $1,000 on a wedding. Fucking save the money for the house.
Yeah, invest your money.
Invest your money.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
You don't need a dress and all this stupid shit.
Yeah, so I spent all the money I had on my wedding.
Yeah. It was
dumb. It was dumb. But I married her. I mean, I kissed her for the first time at the Hotel del Coronado, so I had to marry her there. And so I married her there, and it was expensive. It was not cheap, but it was freaking insane. Yeah, it was really nice.
It's something you're gonna remember the rest of your life. The only thing I say is like the worst part for most people is that they spend a shit on their wedding. They don't get the house right away, which they should have, and then they end up getting divorced. So it's like it doesn't like, again, 50% of people do that, right? So that doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, no, we eloped. It was great. And speaking of that, actually, I'm wearing my wedding ring today, which I don't ever do, or my engagement ring. But this is how far we've got. It's been we've been married for 3 years. I still don't have a wedding band, and he still doesn't have a ring at all. He doesn't even have a ring. So I decided, he won't listen to this anyway, but I decided that he might. But like, I decided this Christmas, I'm gonna get him a wedding ring.
Oh, that's nice. What a sweet thing. That's
right, 3 years later. Dude, that's how much we, like, again, we have kids now. We just went boom, 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 boom. Like, and we're both working and hustling right now. Like, he's building the ADU in the backyard. Like, we're finalizing some serious stuff. So we just don't care about the little like, that does not matter. Like, we just want to, like, go and say, and like, we were going to take a trip to, and I wanted like a big old family trip for all of both his family, my family, and any of our friends to come and meet and go to Mexico and like do a kid-friendly resort. And I was looking at planning it for, Q1 for 2024, and I just bailed on it because I was like, dude, I want to buy another house. Like, I don't want to go travel because I want to like buy another house. Like, that's how serious I am about this goal right now. Yeah. So like, I'm doing everything I can to get positioned in the right places and talking to the right people. And
this is exactly the kind of thing that I'm talking about. So a few years ago, before the kids, you're all in on the Cabo thing.
Oh yeah.
Right? Now that you have kids, now you're thinking about it differently. Yeah. Right? You're looking at it differently and going, okay, we need to build for the future. We need to build for these children. We need,
Here's the thing. We live in San Diego. It is beautiful here.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
And I don't use any of the amenities. Ask me how many times I've been to the beach this year.
How many times have you been to the beach this year?
None. Not a single time. Okay, so
you should go once in a while.
I should go once in a while.
I go once a week.
Exactly. I should try.
Maybe twice. But I'm only there for a few minutes. So.
Either way, I pay a lot of money to live here.
Yes, you do.
And I'm not using any of the amenities. So I told my husband that. I said, listen, enough of the BS. Yep. We don't need to go anywhere else. People can come to us. We have a freaking second house right next door to us that's an Airbnb that we operate as an Airbnb. They can stay there for free. They have a third car. They can literally drive our car for family and friends that come over. Y'all can come to us. We live in a destination. Yeah. Period.
Staycation is a real thing in San Diego.
Yeah, so we're doing more staycations or doing stuff around here that's fun or long weekend type of things. My husband also has a boat that he's like looking to sell because again, we just don't get to play on it. But like, I even told him don't sell it actually, because again, I think we're in a position where we can start playing on it. So I'm like, don't sell it.
As the kids get older, that's going to be a really fun thing,
right?
And they'll enjoy it. I mean, my parents had a boat when I was growing up, and some of the most fun we had was going out, and my dad used to call it boring holes in the ocean, but that's some of the most fun we had.
I would love to read a book, let them jump. We'd
go out on this. They had a boat called the Hummingbird, and we'd go out on the Hummingbird, and we'd go out of the Oceanside Harbor. It was in the harbor. We got out of the Oceanside Harbor, and the dolphins would escort us. That is one of the coolest things ever. And every single time we were out there, they would go escort us, and they would literally swim with us. They were playing, and they're just playing alongside. And it's one of the coolest things, as a kid growing up. It's one of the coolest things to, see.
That's still cool, even as an adult.
Yeah, to see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, I'm trying to actually convince him to not sell it anymore, even though I'm not like an ocean gal. I'm more of a lake. You put me on a lake with a ski boat or a wakeboard boat, I'm all in. The ocean freaks me out, but I'll do it. Like, I'll stay. Obviously, I just again, I've got these kids. I need to get them to the beach. Like, we live at the beach. Like we went to Mexico to go to the beach. That is so dumb.
Yeah.
That's
really
dumb.
Is.
Like, I'm done. Like, I'm done being dumb.
Right.
And so I told Jason I want to do more staycations this year. That means maybe we just get a sitter for the weekend, and me and you go hang out in our own city, or go to Kona Kai and do Kona Kai with the boys.
Kona Kai is really cool.
Yeah, let's spend the money in our own plate, in our own city.
Not a bad idea.
So that's what we're doing now, because I want to save some money, and again, I'm gonna load the gun and get ready to pull the trigger on some real estate. That's
beautiful.
That's where
okay, so we know that real estate is the next thing. So is there anything else that's happening, that's coming, that you want to talk about, that you're working on, that you want to promote?
No.
Okay.
No, we're just, what we've identified that we're good at Real Producers is putting together great opportunities and networking events for our community, for real estate community. So, and they're a little bit higher level people that are attending, especially in this market we're shifting into. There's not going to be, it's not going to be like 2020 and 2021 where anybody could be in real estate. This is going to get hard, and top performers are going to be out there, and they're in on both sides, realtors, investors, and affiliates, and there won't be the people that we saw the last couple of years won't necessarily be here, and that's okay. That's a good thing for top performers. So that's what's coming down the pike, is that we want to get more purposeful about events. They don't have to be big, huge events, but very intentional. Like, our first event of the year is going to be like a tax-related event to mitigate taxes and protection. So I'm going to have Skylar Hoffman, who I just love. He runs Hoffman and Ford. He's a phenomenal real estate attorney. He'll be there to talk about protection-wise, and then we're going to have some really great tax professionals to talk about mitigating that, because that is a big portion of it. These high income earners, they're always looking for one more opportunity, one more, not loophole, but one more tax strategy that's there for you. But we talk about playing the game, playing it, you got to play the game, and that doesn't just mean playing it right. You have to do the financial piece correctly, the back end. Income.
Taxes are a huge deal in real estate investing.
Yes.
Depreciation is a big deal, and all the write-offs that you have. That's all a great big huge part. 1031 tax for exchanges, all of that.
Right.
All of that is a big huge part of what makes real estate investors millionaires.
Right.
And makes them really, really successful.
Right.
So taxes are a huge deal. Now, I don't know if you've listened to the podcast interview with Alan Nevin about his new book.
No, but I want to.
But we should do an event for Alan's book.
I know, you talked about that.
It's phenomenal. I mean, if you get a chance, read it.
What's
it's called
again?
The Next Half Century.
Yeah.
And it talks about, listen to the podcast, because we go over each chapter, but it talks about California, it talks about Texas and Florida and all that. It talks about all that, but it also talks about China and Japan and Vietnam and some of these other countries, Russia, the European Union, and he talks about where they're headed. And I don't know if I told you this, but when I first sat down with him for the first interview that we did, where we got his life story on tape, right before we hit record, he goes, you're doing this at the perfect time. And I said, why is that? And he goes, he goes, in the last 3 years, over 1 billion people worldwide have gained internet access. And he goes, in the next 3 years, another 1 billion will.
Wow.
And he goes, that's how they access podcasts and YouTube channels, and right? And it's like, yeah. And he goes, we are literally positioned in the U.S. to help all these other countries that want to go from third world to second world, that kind of thing. We're literally the best positioned nation on the planet to help them take their nation to the next level.
Interesting.
It's insane. And what's interesting about it is, and Alan says this, and he's right. If you know demographics, you know the future. And so one of the things that he talks about in the book is literally China is in decline. And you wouldn't think that they are, but once you read his book, you'll understand why. Japan is in decline.
Wait, does it have to do with for a economy to run successfully for the long haul, you need exactly 2 kids per adult? And because of
more
China,
than that, because of China's one-child policy,
right? Because of how long they did that, right?
And they have an exodus happening of people, of Chinese citizens that are coming to the U.S.
Oh.
Last fiscal year, there were 26,000 plus Chinese nationals that crossed illegally across our southern border into the U.S.
Wow.
There's not another nation that they came from, that these immigrants came from. There's not another nation that's even close. The next nation is like 11,000. There are 26,000 plus just last year that came here illegally.
Right.
We're not even counting the ones that came here legally, right? The ones that came on a student visa and overstayed it and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So what he's saying is, he's like, look, all these other nations, Russia's another example. Russia has lost millions of people in the last few years. And they're having a tough time because they need employees. They need people to man the factories, and I say man, I don't mean you know what I mean, work to work the factories, men and women, right? They need those types of, and so I mean his book is just fascinating.
Yeah.
If you think you know the world, wait until you read his book,
right?
Because it will change your entire view of everything.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
And it is interesting because that's what I've heard, that exactly to make an economy run for the long haul, like years and years and years and years and years, generations, you need exactly, from what I understood, 2 people or 2 kids per couple. So if I only had 1 kid, then the person over here had 3, we'd even out. So like all of it evens out, but in China, that's why they're upside down. Same in Japan. I heard there's like significantly more men than women, which is causing a problem.
Their workforce is older. So the vast majority of their workforce is 60 plus years old in Japan.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and so they're trying to extend people's retirement age, and they're trying to do what they can to put a Band-Aid on a hemorrhage. It's literally, they're going down like fast, and it's just fascinating.
Because if you're only having 1 kid and you're just not in the family unit, that like secular unit is starting to die. And from what I understood from some of the stuff I've been listening to, is that was what I thought that's what kind of our government was interested in doing too, is like killing that secular unit. I'm not quite sure why. That's another topic. But like, if you don't have that, like your next generation will suffer.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah,
That's
it's fascinating. So anyway, I think we should do something. And by the way, he's writing another book.
I know.
He's got another book that'll be out in a year. It's all right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, because like literally, 2024 is almost all booked. Like the whole year, like I get ahead of it like that. So I have an idea of what we're gonna talk. Well, we're gonna do a mastermind. I don't know specifically what we're gonna do, but it could change, because again, somebody asked me, they're like, oh, like you need to, I don't know. People ask me to do a lot of things, but I'm like, I'm in real estate, or like I don't, like I gotta stick to the topics that for the community. I can't just go off on the limb and do this one wanted me to do like a woman's event, and I'm like, but I'm confused. Like I do real estate. I stick in the real. So we have to make it relate to real estate, and it would. But like anyway, more to come on that.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Okay.
I'm just glad I'm glad that we connected. I'm glad to be here. Like again, podcasting's cool. Again, I just shoot from the hip. So. Yeah. Oh boy, hope y'all liked that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Good.
I love you.
I love you too, man.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out Calendly.com/Rio760.